So we're to solve this equation, and the fact it's asked us to give the answer correct 2 decimal places is another clue we need the calculator for this. So first thing to do is in order to solve any quadratic, we know it has to equal 0. So we need to rearrange this first to equal 0. So it's 8x squared minus 7x minus 3 equals 0, which gives A as 8, B as -7, and C as -3. First option here is to make sure that you're showing your working, and then you can put it into the calculator. So we're using the formula minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. We know that it's positive 7, because remember it's negative b, so that makes it positive, plus or minus the square root of -7 squared minus 4 times 8 times -3 over 2 times 8. Now that's enough to show you're working. You can then stick those values into the calculator using Polysmart. So go to Apps, Polysmart 2, and we're Poly Root Finder. That normally doesn't need to change, and we just input our numbers. So we've got 8, -7, and -3, and we solve that and we get our two solutions, 1.19 and -0.32. So 1.19 and -0.32. Solve the inequality, giving you answers to correct 2 decimal places. Well, similar situation here. We're solving this. We need to make sure it's equal to 0. Obviously the inequality is going to pretend to be our equal sign, so we've got 8x squared minus 7x minus 3 is less than 0. So here's where we would sketch our inequality curve. We know it's a positively happy parabola. We know that this number here would be 1.19 from this question, and that this number here is -0.32. If we want our graph to be less than 0, it means we're talking about this portion here of the graph, which means it's in between these two values. So to show a range, we'd have -0.32 is less than x, which is less than 1.19. So remember, to show a range, we would have the x in the middle. Okay, next one, solve this equation. We can see it's quadratic. A is -1, B is -3, C is 6. So it's +3 plus or minus the square root of -3 squared minus 4 times -1 times 6 over 2 times -1. And then we can use Polysmart again. So -1, I don't know what it was, -3 and 6. And we get -4.37 and 1.37. Okay. Solve the inequality where it's less than 0. So this time we know it's a negatively sad parabola. So it's going to look like this. One of the values is -4.37, and the other is 1.37. This time it is less than 0, so we're talking about underneath the graph because it's less than 0. So that means we're talking about x values that are less than this, but greater than this. So we would have x is less than or equal to -4.37, and x is greater than or equal to 1.37? I can't read my own writing. Okay. show that questions. Remember, you're looking at what information they've given you. We know that the area of the triangle is equal to the area of the square. So to find the area of this triangle, it would be base times height divided by 2. That's equal to the area of the square, which would be x squared. Okay. Oops. So bring our denominator up to the other side and expand my brackets. Move everything to the same side. I'm actually going to move all of these things to be with the other one. Perhaps I should show by working minus x squared minus 2x minus x minus 2. So that goes x squared minus 2 minus 1 is minus 3. Okay, and there we have that. So we'll have to solve this, giving it correct 2 decimal places. So again, A is 1, B is -3, C is -2. So it's positive 3 plus or minus the square root of -3 squared minus 4 times 1 times -2. And use Polismalt. So that's 1, -3, and -2. So 3.56 and -0.56.